Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Thursday Q&A. So every Thursday I make these videos where I answer your questions. So drop me a question in the comment section below, and next Thursday I will do my best to answer everybody's questions. If I have too many of them, I'll have to pick and choose. So let's get started on this. Thomas Murphy asks, are you still planning on buying a new van at some point since the Astra has some issues? And if so, are you going to revise your setup and do some building videos down the road? I am not going to replace this fan. It's actually running better than it's ever ran now. And I did some research, and it turned out that the metal shavings and the oil were normal. And it's just running better than it ever has. It actually has a ton of power now, and it's doing great. So I won't be rebuilding it. I think that in hopefully a year and a half, I will be ready to transition into a sailboat, actually, and sail the world. That's my, I think that's my next step, and possibly start in Australia with my girlfriend. So as far as revising the build on this van, I'm super happy with the way it turned out. There's a couple things like a new roof fan and a couple little things, you know, like revising how I do the curtains and stuff, basically. But there shouldn't be too much. However, if somebody needs help with their van, I would absolutely love to help someone build their van. I had so much fun building this one, and I think I learned a lot. I think I could really help somebody out. So if any of you guys are planning on building a van and you don't know how, or you just want some help with it or whatever, I would love to be part of that, and I would love to be able to film it to help other people with the build videos and to show other people how I do it. So there's that. Next question is from Vanishing Phoenix. You actually have two of them. The first one is, how often do you do laundry? It's between once a week and once every 2 weeks. Man, I'm really getting a tan out here. It's awesome. I've got like the darkest tan I've ever had. Back to the question. Sorry, ADD. How often do you do laundry? So it depends on, like, I don't know, about once a week, once every 2 weeks. I don't have that many clothes. I think I have like 3 pairs of pants, 2 pairs of shorts, 7 pairs of undies, I think, I don't know, probably 7 pairs of socks, and more shirts than I need. I actually need to donate some of them because I don't need all of them. I don't wear all of them. But, you know, the type of underwear that I get is, it's like, I don't want to show you because that'd be weird, and I don't know what it's called. It's like Under Armour type, where it doesn't, it's not like cotton where it absorbs sweat and smells bad after like the first day or whatever. So I usually just like rinse them off in a sink somewhere and wring them out. And the same thing with my socks. When I wear socks, I haven't worn shoes for, man, probably like 3 weeks now. I've just been wearing flip-flops. Florida's awesome for that. But when I do wear socks, I usually wear wool socks, and those, you can wear them like 3 or 4 times before they need to be washed. I know that probably sounds gross to a lot of you, but they don't smell bad, they don't feel bad, they still breathe. That's just the nature of wool. I mean, what did people do before they had laundry machines and laundromats? They wore their clothes for forever. You know, as far as pants, you can usually wear pants like 3 or 4 times before you have to wash them. And shirts are kind of like, I don't know, I usually spill something on them, or if I sweat, then they stink. And I don't want to wear stinky, dirty clothes. That's just, I feel like I'm disrespecting myself somehow. But shirts are usually like you can wear them twice. So, I mean, it really depends. If I'm somewhere getting muddy or dirty or greasy or sweating a lot, then I have to wash them more often. But usually it's once or twice a week. I think I've stretched it to 3 weeks a few times. And your next question is, do you like my new logo? Wizard Dream Weston made it, apparently. I love it, dude. Your logo is awesome. And Wizard Dreams Weston is rad. I love that guy. I spent some time with him in Key West. He's a really, really cool dude. I'm glad you found him and he was able to hook you up with that logo. Yeah, your logo rocks, dude. Primo1127 asks, aren't you concerned your laptop will overheat and we won't be able to watch your videos anymore? I love that. Thank you so much. Actually, no. Check this out. The bottom of this thing, it doesn't have any openings for ventilation or a fan. The fan is actually in this crack. And I noticed that I can set it down on a bed or whatever. He's referring to when I make videos in the back where I'm laying down and the laptop's down, like sitting like flat on the bed. And the bottom doesn't really get hot. All the air comes out this fan right here. So it's really a nifty deal. Oh, that reminds me. Has everybody gotten their stickers? I mailed a bunch of them out, and I just want to make sure everybody's gotten them. If you haven't them, please get a hold of me and I will send you more. Next question is from Dark Soul, and the question is, how do you decide which questions to answer and which questions to ignore? I answer almost all of them most of the time. There's been a few times where it's been like a repeat question where I answered it like within the last month, I guess. And in that case, I just answer their questions directly on the comment section. There's been a couple that I felt were really inappropriate and didn't contribute in any way to my channel, or my fans wouldn't be interested in that case. I just answer them in the comment section. But probably 98% or 99%, I don't know, I'm just throwing a number out. But almost all questions I answer. I'm lucky at this point in time where the amount of questions isn't super overwhelming and there's enough to fit in less than like 20 minutes. And it seems like people like the videos where I kind of just like talk about things for like 20 minutes, especially the Q&A one. So it's working out really great for me. So I haven't had to ignore any of them yet. Steven, except for one, there was one like trolly kind of just mean question, so I just deleted that one and moved on. Stephen Kluge asked, will you ever install a roof vent in your van for better climate control before summer is coming? Well, I have one, but it's only that like, I think it's 5 1/4 or 6 1/4 or 5 1/2, 6 1/2, something, little roof fan, and it definitely doesn't pull enough air, and I definitely need a 12 by 12, and I want to spend like no more money on this fan at all, but that's one thing I might have to do at some point, because the fan that I have just isn't enough, doesn't pull enough air. Live Simply asks, what do you do on rainy, nasty days? That is an excellent question. I'm surprised nobody's asked me that yet, or that I've thought to mention it. On rainy, nasty days, I usually sit in my van and watch YouTube videos, clean the van, plan new videos, edit videos, play guitar. Oh, the guitar thing. Dude, I was going to sell my electric guitar, but I played it the other night just because I wanted to like see how it was, like see if it needed a tune-up or anything. I can't sell it. I can't do it. I need it. I need to be able to play. I just can't. But rainy, nasty days, yeah, that's pretty much it. I pretty much sit inside the van most of the time. Sometimes I go into like malls or do shopping or do laundry. It's a great day to do laundry. And your second question is, what happened to the Tibetan flags? You know what? I just never really put them up. Oh, no, I did put them up in the very back, right next to the back 2 doors. But every time I opened the doors, they would like swing out, and then when I closed the doors, they would close on the flags, so it got to be kind of a hassle to try to keep the flags down while I closed the doors. So I just took them out. I still have all of them. I'll probably, now that you mentioned, I'll probably put them up at some point. I think I kind of tucked them away in a corner somewhere and forgot about them. Let's see here. Hector Riviera says, what inspired you to live off-grid? And the second question is, how did you discipline yourself with the amount of electricity you use per day? So your first question, what inspired me to live off-grid? That was a byproduct of just wanting to travel full-time with very little money. Having to pay for electricity like while you're on the road in a van means that you probably have to get like an RV park or find someone to let you plug into their walls, which would be totally a hassle to do every night. And going to RV parks or campgrounds would just cost a ton of money. So it was really a necessity of the lifestyle that I chose to live. And your second question about how do you discipline yourself with the amount of electricity use per day? You know, that was actually a really easy thing for me. It was a really easy transition. I already had the habit of turning off lights when I left a room and turning off things when I wasn't using them. And, you know, the only thing I really had to adapt to with this, and it wasn't really a discipline thing, it was just learning, and then it very quickly became habit, and it hasn't been like a hassle or anything, is charging my electronics in the beginning of the day when the sun is out, so that my, by the end, like while the sun is still out, everything is charged up, my laptop and my camera batteries, my e-cig batteries and all of that, so that when they're done charging, the sun is still out and it's able to fully charge my battery all the way back up, so that I have full battery to get through the whole night of using lights and fans and whatnot. So that was really the biggest challenge. As far as the discipline part, it didn't really occur to me that it was a discipline. It was just kind of something I did, and it became habit. And I noticed when I go into people's houses, and even when I go into stores sometimes, I find myself just turning off lights and making sure everything's off. It's just an automatic thing. It's a really good habit to develop. I mean, it's really good to conserve electricity, you know? Even in this situation where it's totally free and just coming from the sun and from my alternator. because the more you use a battery, the more you wear it out, and they're really bad for the environment. So it's good to keep that battery in really good condition so it'll last longer. Let's see here. Nenum with really cool letters. I don't know how you did that, but I would like to know, so please tell me. Says, have you ever gotten, or why have you not gotten a pillow with arms yet? Those are those like back pillows that you lay against that have little armrests on them. I don't know. It never really occurred to me. It would be cool to have one, but I worry that it would take up too much space because when I'm not, I kind of take up most of that bed. It's just a twin size bed, so I wonder what I would do with it at night. It would be cool to have. I'm entertaining the thought. Yeah, I hadn't thought of it, and I need to keep thinking about it before I decide to get one. Thank you for that. Living in my RV says, what do you use to cover this? Whoa, I got off on the wrong thing. What do you use to cover your ceiling? There we go. Is it wallpaper or cloth, and how are you keeping it up? Thanks in advance. Check out my van build video 6. That's where I put it in. It is a tapestry, and I used glue. I used 3M, I think it's called Super 90, like super high strength spray glue. And I just sprayed the ceiling and put a little bit up, sprayed the ceiling, put a little bit up, sprayed the ceiling, put a little bit up. And kind of just worked that way, and it's held like super well. It hasn't come off at all, but it was really hard because that ceiling's curved to get it like totally flat up there without any wrinkles in it. I found that the wrinkles were an inevitable thing. But I also have that center strip of wood that goes across to hide the lights, and that's also holding it up, but it doesn't need to. I could have just used the glue and it would have been totally fine. In that video, I don't actually show me putting it up because the spray glue went everywhere and I didn't want to risk getting on my lens, but it does show the whole outcome. And there's some other really cool things in that video. I watched it last night. It was one of my best build videos. I thought it was fun to watch. I got some cool stuff done in that one, so check it out. Should be popping up in the card section. Nigel Sefafin, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, says, would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one duck-sized horse? I would rather befriend 100 duck-sized horses. That would be really cool. Mr. Harmonizer says, if you could have an all-expenses-paid road trip and living money, where would you go? Australia. By far. Mostly to be with my girl, but I've also wanted to go to Australia since I was a little kid watching Crocodile Hunter. I absolutely fell in love with both Steve Irwin and Australia and reptiles like at the same time. That show had a big impact on my life. Rip Steve. John Washer says, and this isn't really a question, but like a statement. I think he was just trying to vent and not feel so alone, and I think a lot of people are going to be able to identify this. So I wanted to read this because it's a real human thing. He says, my job causes anxiety due to the nature of time pressures. We get loaded up with a certain amount of work and all expected time frame to finish it in, or with discipline issues from management. If you think you need extra time, you must ask for it in advance, which almost always leads to an argument with management. The hardest thing for me is when they pile on extra overtime work in addition to that. The entire day can become very unenjoyable and stressful. At the end of the day, it usually works out fine though. Those days, the feelings of anxiety about work might have me looking for alternatives to earning income and battling thoughts of quitting when I can finally afford to quit on a daily basis. Man, that sounds rough, man. I'm sure you are totally not alone. I'm sure there are just tons and tons and tons of people all over the world that are feeling the exact same way. And this battle of having to do this work that is just so stressful that it's literally killing you, because stress is literally like terrible for your body. It weakens your immune system so much, and not to mention what it does to you, like just emotionally and spiritually. You know, and all this just to be able to afford a house and afford the car payments and afford all the other bills and stuff that come with life. It's hard, man. Times are really hard for a lot of people right now. Really, really hard. The answers are within you. You know what to do. So Richard Mann says, why is water wet? Why is water wet? Because we have defined the sensation of wetness and the the interaction of molecules as being wet with language. Otherwise, everything just is without our definition. And the last one, Robert Phillips says, do you think cows would be cooler if they pierced their nipples? Do you mean cooler in temperature or cooler as in like badass? Because if it were cooler in temperature, then only if they're in the shade and there's a breeze, because it would cool the metal and the metal would cool their nipples. But if you mean like cooler, like they'd be badass, I don't know, cows are already badass, man. I mean, everything's badass if you think about it. Like just the fact that anything exists at all, and especially that like we're in these bodies and we can interpret and observe and like try to understand everything is just like mind-blowing, man. Like everything is just incredible. Like we build all these like crazy like stresses and pressures around everything, but in reality like everything is a miracle and everything is just like what is really going on here? Like how am I talking through this camera right now and it's going into outer space, man, and then it's coming back down and then it's going through all these tunnels and fibers and stuff, and it's probably coming out of some other little device that shoots waves into the air, and then you have some computer or some cell phone you're watching it on, like all these things, like everything that's going on. Like I'm in this van and I'm able to drive around this crazy beautiful rock that we live on, and like all this crazy like nonsensical stuff is happening. We're communicating with language and we're understanding and we're broadening our understanding, and just like all these incredible things are happening at once, and it's like, man, everything is cool. So under that perspective, cows can't get any cooler. So that's it, guys. We had a short one this week, so thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave me questions for next week. Give me a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. So that's it, guys. Love yourself. Woo!